Welcome to episode 3 of Bologna Lips and the Woolly Worm. I'm David Bologna Lips McCrary. That is Joe the Woolly Worm Deuce. What do we say? Battling the world's
taking on the world's issues. Yeah, the world's problems. We're taking them on one at a time.
Yeah,
just talking.
Yeah. And well, listen, I love everybody except for couples who sit on the same side of the table at restaurants.
Yes. Yeah, brother.
Dude,
oh my God.
Drives me nuts. I want to say something to him every time. I'm like, why? Why?
I guess they want to be close to each other and see the same things, but it's I don't know. That means you literally are going out of your way to not look at your partner.
Yeah, that's what if you're
like, I can't look at you and eat. That's what you're telling them. Basically.
And a close second to that are the couples who sit right next to each other in a pickup truck.
Yes, when there's a third seat wide open.
Yeah,
they sit in the hump seat, the middle seat.
Go sit over there, and they're sitting right there. And I feel like, it's either a controlling husband or boyfriend or a clingy wife or girlfriend.
Or
either
both.
way, it's bad. Or both.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I think those are the same couples who have joint accounts on Facebook.
Yeah.
And those are the worst couples to argue with. Like, you don't know who you're arguing with.
Right. Now, my mom and dad have a joint account, but that's just because they're older. And
if you're over 60, I get it.
Yeah. Actually, it's not even a joint account. It's mom's account, and dad's just on it all the time.
Right. Okay.
They may listen to this podcast, but my dad is like a 12-year-old girl on Facebook watching videos. I'll be doing something, and he'll find me and say, "Hey, you gotta watch this video." And
My mom shares the video and tags me in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is a lot of fun. Yeah. Have you seen this? Yes, honey, because I'm on the internet. So thanks, Mom, for that. But those are the worst couples. They look like The Last Supper, and I hate it.
I just don't get it. Why do you have to? I don't know. I mean, I could talk about it. I can't talk about it actually because I don't understand it.
I don't. Yeah, maybe if you're one of those couples, write to us. It's lipworm@gmail and let us know what's going on.
That's right. We do have a
Gmail now.
We have an email now.
Yeah,
and lipworm@gmail.com.
Okay, I believe so. Yeah, or you can visit our website lipworm.com. I don't know if you can leave comments on there.
Yeah, I don't know either. We got Danny taking care of all that stuff.
We'll let him handle that. Okay.
I mean, I just today shared the first podcast of ours. I mean, it just came up a few weeks ago, but I wasn't even sure it was ready to go yet, and I guess it is. So.
Yeah, we will share away. I, Joe Deuce, love everyone except for people who have to pose with little black children on their mission trips.
Have to.
They cannot resist.
You tell the kid doesn't look happy being held like that. Put the kid down. Just tell us what you did.
Right.
Jesus saw. Jesus knows what you did. You don't have to show us.
I think when you go on mission trips, pictures, definitely. You want pictures because you got to come back and present to your donors at the church and all that. So I totally get that. But you don't have to have little brown people in all your pictures. Like, take a picture with you and your best friend Becky, and you guys could have a hammer and you're doing work. That's great.
Right.
But the ones who have to, don't get me wrong, there will be people from those countries or neighborhoods or whatever in your pictures naturally, organically. But if you have to, like, oh, look at this little brown baby, you got to go on Instagram. Like, no.
If the person you're in the picture with has a look on their face like they didn't know the picture was being taken. I mean, that's terrible for a podcast, but I made it look like, were you taking a picture?
Right.
I didn't know you were behind me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one.
Oh, man, brother. Because on the one hand, you're trying to do good work. But on the other hand,
you're trying to get praise for it.
Right. You don't need the attention. You shouldn't. Right. But, that's
a good one.
Maybe it's just me. Yeah, maybe it's just me.
No, I think that's good. And have you ever seen one where you recognize the kid like that's your neighbor. You're not in Haiti.
Right? You're not. That's Daquan from Save-A-Lot. I know Daquan.
I saw him when I was over at your house last week. Put a shirt on that poor kid. I said that terrible. Put a shirt on that poor kid and let him go back to work. Or not work, but go back to whatever he was doing.
He was probably at work. He was at Save-A-Lot. It's Daquan from Save-A-Lot. Listen, you know what's terrible, Dave? And this is, I hate to admit this. but I have several friends from growing up in church and church camp and stuff who travel around and do mission work from time to time.
Right.
One of them in particular adopted a child from Africa. Actually, two. It was two children, but I didn't know that they were adopting. So the first one they adopted, I guess, a couple of years before the second one. And I didn't see any pictures until the second one was adopted. And so the picture is this white girl with two little black kids on either side of her face, and they're cheesing it up. And I'm like, where is she go on a mission trip? And so I'm like, I said, did you have fun on a comment? And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, did you have fun? And I don't know how she took it, but there's several ways that it could have been taken. One is very insulting to the fact that she adopted these kids. One of those is very insulting to the fact that she may have conceived these kids out of her wedlock. I don't know. Like there's a lot of different. Like I'm like, did you?
Man, I gotta tell you, I think that's on you.
It is. Just asked, it's on me.
Was it fun?
Yeah. Well, because most people they go on mission, they're like, I had such a blast. These people are great. So I was just like, did you have a good time? And yeah, it made it seem like either I thought that she was on a mission trip, but I don't even think she took it that way. I think she thought that she was involved in something.
Oh, we get you.
with a football team or something. Like that's. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's good. And it's. The only big issue I really have with social media, there's multiple, but the biggest issue, there's no tone you can take out of text or comments. So you don't know if I'm joking, you don't know, and like, so.
And it's that way with text, too. Not just social media, text.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think Key and Peele have a great sketch about, you text somebody something and they text it back. I've seen that. And you keep getting more and more angry, but they're not thinking about anger at all. Like they're fine. It just becomes more and more, more and more adversarial.
Yeah. So, should we talk about our homework from last week?
Let's do it. Do it.
You want to talk about yours first?
I'll go first. Yeah, I'll go
first.
You go first.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear yours because I was really excited about the homework I gave you.
You gave me a movie to watch. It's called Sing Street.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, I would strongly suggest that you do go see it. Now, you compared it to Rockstar, and they're very similar but very different at the same time.
Yeah. Still, absolutely.
Yeah. Great music. I love the music on Sing Street. I like the story that was being told. Everyone loves like a coming of age kind of story. Yeah. So that was good. The accents
it's hard.
Are a little hard to understand at some points. And I think they were in Wales, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
I never quite placed where they were. I knew they were adjacent to London. Like they could see London across the waterway.
Yeah.
And then there was a boat carrying Irish people to London. I caught that part.
Yes.
Here's a couple of issues. One was that they took that little itty bitty boat into the
that's dangerous. They're definitely dead. That's why there's not a sequel.
Into the storm. I was like, okay. I was like, they're dying. This is how they're gonna die. But second, I wish there was a sequel. I'm glad you said I wish there was a sequel because I want to know what happened next.
Yep.
But it was a very good story. It was hard to watch at certain points, which lets you know it's a good emotional movie. You know, when the parents are going through their thing, and when the girl is going through her thing. Like there was a lot of elements that are a little hard to watch, and even the bully was a good one for me.
Yeah,
because I pick on people. Like that was, that's why.
Well, I think that's what we do as
comedians. You kind of do it. But most of us were also picked on in school, and I was, but I also picked on people. I was right in the middle. I did a little both.
Okay.
But seeing his, the home life he was coming from, and how they took him in, it was interesting. I did have to look up a racial term that I never had heard.
Okay.
And it's slipping my mind right now. But I'm
trying to think which one it is.
The kids, when he says there's a black kid at school, we got to get him in the band. And they called him something. I looked it up. It's basically like a minstrel doll, like a blackface doll.
Okay. Wow.
And I was
it's based in 1984, so obviously they were stupid back then.
Right. Well, okay. Yeah. I mean, not too much more, I don't think, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty close now, I guess.
So it was interesting because I've never. It's always weird to me when I hear a new racial term that I'd never heard before, and have to think about like, what the heck is that?
How did that develop? Yeah. How did that come about?
A gollywog. That's what it was. Okay. I looked it up. A gollywog. So they were like, when he said, there's a black kid down the street, and then and he's in school. We can add him. And they're like, does he play any instruments? And the one kid's like, I don't know, but he put a gollywog in the band. Everyone's gonna love it. And he's
like, I remember. I know I've heard that. I don't think I even registered that it was like a racial thing. I thought maybe it was a band member.
Well, I was like, maybe that's a music term. And then the kid says, I don't think you can call him that anymore. So when he said I said, ooh, let me look this up. Yeah, so it was interesting to hear a racial term that I was unsure of in a movie. Because usually it's pretty, it's like cut and dry. Like, that's clearly racist. Right. But, yeah. So I had to Google it. So I learned something. Gollywog.
Gollywog is kind of a fun name. If you're going to be racist,
Bologna Lips and the Gollywog. That would have been.
Oh man,
that would have been fun. Yeah. It's I looked it up. It's a doll from like the minstrel age. It's in the blackface, whatever. So yeah, it's that was fun.
Yeah. Well, you learn. See, I wanted. Not only did I want you to be entertained, I wanted you to learn. Mm-hmm. And you're just
you didn't
learning.
even know that they said that. You didn't.
I didn't. What we talked about, it's hard to understand these folks.
It is. But when he said, I rewound it twice to figure out what the word was.
Okay.
And then Googled the word. So that's why I had to look at my Google history to remember what it was. Gollywog. So
now you said you were going to watch it with your wife.
Yeah.
What'd she think?
Well, she didn't get to watch it. But we are planning to watch it in the future because she loves Rockstar. That was her favorite movie when we first met. And so when I told her there was a movie that's somewhat similar, and she likes Snatch, which is like, they have bad accents in Snatch with all those guys. And then there's a movie called Green Street Hooligans. I don't know if you've seen that. It's about soccer gangs.
Oh, okay. I may have to check that out.
And as a soccer guy, it's a great movie, I think. So, so I think she would like it a lot.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, my homework, he told me to learn the Get Up by Blanco Brown, which I knew the song. Mm-hmm. I've seen people dance to it. I am not a dancer. My wife wishes I would dance more like at weddings and stuff. And
really?
I just don't.
Which is weird to me because you're an entertainer.
Yeah.
So you're on stage in front of people acting a fool sometimes. Right.
Yeah.
But when it's time for you to get in front of people and just have a fun entertainment thing, you won't do it.
I don't. I kind of get on my own nerves that I don't, because I see people out there having fun and being silly and I don't know why it is, but I'm just not a dancer. But go ahead.
No, I've got a theory that dancing to some white people is the same as swimming to some black people.
Okay, that's good.
Like growing up, you as a black person, you dance as part of life. Like it's just ingrained, I think, in our culture, in our households, blah blah blah. And I think swimming, not so much. We don't have swimming pools readily available, or at least we didn't growing up. So a lot of black people are scared to swim. White people, on the other hand, I don't feel like there's some white churches I've been to where they don't allow you to dance.
Yeah.
Which is strange to me.
Southern Baptists are very much against
which
dancing.
Is strange to me. And so, so to not have dance as a part of your everyday, it makes it seem like that might be you're all swimming.
Yeah, it could be. I think you're onto something there. So I'm assuming you dance. You can dance.
I love dancing. Yeah, I don't know if I can dance. I love dancing. I've done dances in shows. I love dancing.
Okay. Well, I had a blast learning it, learning the dance. I feel like I'm still at the point, it's only been a week, I'm still at the point where I kind of have to think as I go into next move, where I got to get rid of the thinking and just
let it flow
and just have it. Let it happen, add a couple things here or there. Once you know it, same thing when I do magic. I have to learn a card trick, and I have to learn the moves. Once I learn it well enough, then I can present it. I can talk during the trick. I can have some fun with it. I can stop at any point. I can change it up. So that's the same thing. But as I'm learning it, my wife is like, "Oh, that's right." She said, "I learned this." She learned it, when the dance came out. She goes, "I got to learn this again." So maybe this is the step to me and my wife starting to dance together.
Yeah, at least you can do this one.
Yeah,
if they play this song, at least you can jump in there.
We'll go out to a club somewhere, and it's the only dance I'll do to every song. People will be like, after the second song, they're like, "Oh, he's doing that dance again." Third song, he's like, "I think this is the only dance he knows."
Well, you got to learn the electric slide, because you can do the electric slide to almost any song.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that one's even more simple than the get up. So
And I obviously I've seen the electric slide, but I've never even done that. I sit there and watch. I know. It's kind of boring.
that's when you can throw some swagger on. Once you get the steps down, you can throw a little something. You can roll the dice when you rock with it. You can pick them up. You can dust the ground, dust your toes off. It's a lot of fun. So you can do almost anything with that. Yeah,
I'm gonna become a dancer. That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna become a dancer.
I'm gonna be honest. I sent you the
video. You did see the video.
I saw the video of your footwork. Looks good. I really want to know what's happening up top.
Oh yeah, I kept it low.
Yeah, but it looked good. My crazy concern was when you sent me the link or the picture of you watching the instructors. It was just 3 white people.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, this is the one country dance where there should be some. You should have some hood people showing you how to do it.
Well, you know, I couldn't find the when I typed in "get up tutorial," it was all white people.
Oh
that I saw.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a filter on my computer.
Oh yeah, probably.
Maybe just all white stuff comes up on my computer. There is the guy though.
You got Blackware on that thing?
I don't have to look. I don't know where you get that. Where do you pick that up at?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably the dark
market?
web. Probably the dark web.
Black market or the dark web. Boom. We got jokes. There is one video of the guy. I know you've seen him. The guy in the red shorts that dances to the get up. Oh my gosh, I could watch that guy over and over and over. Where he's holding his drink and
and doesn't spill a drop.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I giggle the whole time I watch him. He's funny. He's awesome.
Oh man! All right, that was good homework. Then we did good job.
Yeah,
we did good things. I feel like
I'm gonna keep going too. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
I'll send you a video once I get it down.
I hope you do. Yeah, maybe next time I'm in Columbus, we'll all go line dancing.
There's a place up in Medina. It's about an hour and a half.
I know where Medina is. I don't know if I'll join you there.
Well, the place is called Thirsty Cowboy, so I'm not sure if you should. But if you're with me, I would say with me you'll be fine. But I'm not sure that's even true.
Dave. That's okay. I got some friends. Some friends that live over by the what's the place where the dump is.
I don't know.
No, you know in Columbus you're driving through and there's all of a sudden there's a dump on the side of the interstate.
Like over on Frank Road, and there's a dump coming up 71.
Yeah, up 71. What is that little town
Frank
called?
Road.
Grove City?
Grove City. It's just north of Grove City.
Yeah, so they live in Grove City. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, Columbus, if you're listening, that's the worst curb appeal you could put on for a city. You like a dump right before you enter the city.
As you're coming into the city.
Yeah. And you can smell it. Oh,
yeah.
Geez.
It's pretty bad. So what are we going to tackle today? Well, I know what we need to tackle.
Okay.
Something that's kind of been on my mind since we started this.
Okay.
And it's accidental racism.
That's the best kind.
Yeah. Because you can even play stupid, like, oh man, I didn't mean to.
Well, not even racist. That. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome for you. Right. I think on the flip side, when people are accidentally racist, there's an option to change their outlook, like to educate, if that makes sense. I think all racism is ignorant, but not all ignorance is racism, if that makes sense. And
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's very good. Say that again. Yeah. Preach.
All racism is ignorant, but not all ignorance is racism. And I think that allows you the opportunity to educate. Accidental racism I love because people say it so innocently, and it's like, oh, sweetheart. My memo would say, oh, bless your heart. You don't even know. Like, you don't even know that you just called me another version of the N-word. Like, it's like that.
Right. Well, that's what this show is about. This podcast is about this stuff that maybe in a situation like that, instead of flying off the handle, you learn.
Right. Yeah. I think some things also may be called racism that aren't necessarily racist. I had a white lady arguing with me the other day on Facebook because I said Karen. I called her Karen, which is like a slang term for someone who they call the manager and they complain about everything, and it's usually a middle-aged white woman. And she told me that was racist. And I was like, no, it's insulting. It's definitely insulting. Yeah. It's definitely belittling. Those are intentional, but it's not racist. There's not a race of Karens.
No, I don't think so either. Well, what makes me okay? So I don't know if this first one would be considered accidental racism, but I said something, and again, you have to tell me if you think this is racist. It's not white black. It's white Asian.
Okay. Racism. Well, speaking on behalf of all minorities, I will be the judge.
Appreciate it. You are the voice of all minorities right now. So in the mid '90s, I was in a rock and roll band. I had really super long hair. I was the singer. I couldn't sing, but I looked like a rock star. I was a cool looking rock star.
What was your favorite song you guys made as a rock band?
None of our own original.
It was all
originals were
covers.
awful.
You guys were all
Well, we
covers.
did originals.
Oh,
They were
okay.
all awful. We had one called Psycho Girl that was about 2.5 minutes long, kind of Ramonish, punkish. It was kind of fun.
Well,
but
there you go. Yeah.
we did cover tunes like Macho Man. We turned into rock and roll by Village People. Peach by Prince, I think, was our favorite cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dave, so far your rock band has played the Village People and Prince.
Yeah. And the Monkees.
The Monkees might be the most heterosexual thing you guys play.
It might be. It might be.
Okay.
No, speaking of the Monkees, I remember years ago Chris Rock hosting. Speaking of accidental racism, Chris Rock hosting music awards. I'm not sure which one it was, and they were doing a lifetime achievement for the Monkees. And as he introduced them, he said, "The only thing I ever was excited about the Monkees is that they weren't black." He said it better than that, but it was that's pretty funny. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Because that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
They'll set us all back.
Right. All right, so here's the story. The bass player in my band was Eurasian. So his mom was white, his dad was Asian. We were best buds during the time. We hung out together all the time. Me and him kind of started the band and we were buddies. So one day, both of us, long hair. He had long black hair. I had long kind of blondish brown hair. One day we're doing something and he says, we're teasing each other and he says something like, "Whatever, Farrah," as in Farrah Fawcett.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just making fun. I look like Farrah Fawcett. I had long blonde hair like Farrah Fawcett. And I was like, okay, that coming from Connie Chung.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now he threw a fit. He's like, "Dude, that's racist." I'm like, "What? You're Asian." I don't. So
that's a tough one.
What do you think?
That's a tough one. Here's on the one hand, Dave, you had to come up with a comeback pretty quickly, and Asian was the best thing you could go for. I get it.
In my defense, also, he looks more Asian than white. So,
question: how long was his hair?
It was down to it was down to it was long.
So here's the issue.
Okay.
Connie Chung not known for her hair.
Okay.
Whereas Farrah Fawcett known for her hair.
Okay. That's a good point.
I don't know that there's any Asian person who's known for their hair. You know, so I'm not sure where you could have gone better, but a long-haired brown person, you could have called him Jimmy Snooker. Superfly. You could, but that was hard because the door to that blow was opened by him. Like he started the conversation, and I think when you start going what we call the dozens or start ripping on people, you kind of have to be open to what's about to come out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I would definitely agree with that.
Does he look like Connie Chung?
No more than I look like Farrah Fawcett.
Okay. So if it's equal, I think if it's equidistant, I don't think it's that bad.
I feel like if I would tell you he looked like Connie Chung, that would be racist.
Not if he looks like Connie Chung. See, that's the thing. There's people who tell me all the time I look like Ice-T. Okay.
And I see that a bit.
Right. And I'm like, okay, because all black people look alike. That's what I say first, just to throw them off. But I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, I do look like Ice-T a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm all shaved up and my beard's gone, I got the goatee. I look like Detective Tutuola. I get it.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, that works.
And when I was younger, they thought I looked like Ludacris because I had no facial hair and I had braids. They thought, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. But sometimes you just call people what comes to mind. Yeah. I don't think that's racist.
Well, I just thought that was the first Asian lady that came to mind.
Right, right.
He called me a famous white lady. I called him a famous Asian lady.
Right. If you were like, oh, okay, coming from, never mind, none of y'all are famous. Like that would be.
Yeah.
that'd be racist.
That's bad.
You just pick somebody.
When I say he got mad, he's just like, dude, that's racist. I'm like, no, it's not. And it was fine after that. But yeah, it's
I don't think that's racist.
Okay, good.
I think when you start name calling, like when he started Farrah Fawcett, it opened up the door that you got to call him somebody else who's equally not him. It's got to be a female. Probably got to look a little bit like him. So Asian. So I don't.
So like right now, if you called me, what's her name? Katie Lang, because she got short hair. I'm thinking of a short-haired white lady, and I called you Whoopi Goldberg. Would that be racist?
Wow, no. I got dreads. We both have dreads. No, I think those are that. First of all, I think you've been thinking about this. Obviously, like you've been like, I got to figure out a way to call him Whoopi Goldberg. But no, I think. Don't get me wrong. There are people who would be offended. But I think if you are in that conversation as two friends who are ripping on each other, or even two people who just don't know each other very well who are ripping on each other, like once you open up the gate, you got to be ready for what's coming.
That's right.
And it's not like if you called him a racial slur, clearly that's racist.
Yeah.
If you tried to make a joke about his race, that would be racist. But the fact that you compared him to a woman because he compared you to a woman, and you picked one who was famous because he picked one who was famous, I think it's equal. You at a certain point, if you want equality, we all got to actually have equality. So you can't limit you because he feels uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Was 24 years ago. I will finally sleep through the night tonight, knowing that you've cleared that up for me.
Well, good. I am so happy, Rachel Maddow, that you were able to line that up.
Hold on, let me think. Okay. Black lady from Walking Dead.
Now, see, that's racist.
I couldn't think of her name. She's awesome.
You used her race.
Oh, that's true.
No, I'm kidding. It's cool. Michonne.
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time and then stop because it seemed like more of the same.
How many times can you kill dead people?
Yep.
You know, it's like they just keep going places and getting stuck. Getting stuck. Having some rivalry that doesn't make sense because we're all fighting the same monster. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Walking Dead is a metaphor for racism in America, by the way.
Is it?
We're all fighting the same fight, yet we keep getting at odds. You know, black people are Negan and white people are Rick and his crew, I guess.
Okay.
Or vice versa. You can pick whichever side you want.
Yeah.
But
okay, you want to hear the next accidental racist story?
Yes, I do.
So this one's a little edgier. But definitely more accidental.
Okay.
So we're playing I worked at Lucid Technologies here in Columbus for a while. And at lunch, you get a half hour and we'd sit at a table and we'd play euchre. So for folks who don't know euchre, if you're not in the Midwest, I think it's big in the Midwest. It's kind of like spades. It's kind of like that kind of game. A lot of people know spades, but not. So anyways, it's me, another white guy, and two black guys. I don't remember who was my partner, but we're all buddies sitting around the table. And in this game, if you play a card that you're not allowed to play, because you have to follow suit. Like if somebody plays a heart, you have to play a heart. If you don't play a heart and you have one, it's called reneging. RENEG.
Is it? Are you sure? Because we call it reneging.
Well, I've got to be clear. I'm clarifying for the later on in the story.
Okay. So is it called reneging? Because I've been saying it wrong my whole adult life.
Well, I say it like you do, but technically I think it's reneging. I've read that before. I think I probably should have looked that up, but I've heard that.
That's okay. No, that's fine. Go ahead. I get it. Yeah.
So we're playing, and we've been playing. We're all buddies, and at one point, one of the black guys plays a card, and then we find out that it's wrong, that he reneged. Mm-hmm. And the other white guy goes, "No, dude, you reneged. You are a renegger. You're a renegger." Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And didn't hear it. And listen, even saying it like that just made my skin crawl. And you could almost hear the scratch of the needle on the record in the whole cafeteria. Yeah.
Because they didn't hear the re part.
No, right. They just heard, and people were like, what? And I'm telling you, everything stopped. And he's like, no, and he says it, and he's just looking at us, smiling, and we're like, he didn't hear what he was saying.
What are you saying, Todd?
Yeah. How'd you know his name was Todd?
No, I shot a guess. It's always a Todd.
That's good.
No, that's...
Dude, we ended up laughing about it for a while, but the two guys we're playing cards with just kind of stared at him like, what?
Yeah.
It was funny and awkward and yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Same thing happened when playing spades in college.
Okay.
A kid who was not white, he was Latino, started saying that. And I think it, for me, in the moment, first of all, I wanted to make him feel uncomfortable. But he seemed to take such joy in being able to say that phrase that he thought it was hilarious.
So he knew he was saying.
He knew what he was doing.
Okay.
I think if you don't know, then words are a weird, especially English words, because they can mean so many different things, so many double meanings. But there's I don't like the word for like being stingy with money or cheap is niggardly. I don't know if you've ever heard
this.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
So there's a word called niggardly, like means like you're withholding or you're stingy with something.
Wow.
And so like I've heard people actually who are very well versed in use words like that, or like if they say you're too loquacious, that means you're talkative. Like they use big words like that all the time. So I heard that in conversation one time, and was like, hold on, what? And so,
your face should change,
right? Because there's a trigger, and I think that's the weird part is because words, you hear what you want to hear. The same way we talked earlier about text messages and social media, they don't have a tone. In person, sometimes there's a word that can be spoken, or it sounds like enough of a word that you automatically are triggered immediately. And so I think, with that one, it's hard. It's not. I don't think he's being racist, but
no, he wasn't at all.
Right.
You could generally tell on his face after he said it. There's that pause, kind of like he's just smiling, and he
he's
feels
like, oh no,
he feels like I called you out. I got you. You reneged.
Right.
And then it finally clicks what he had said. I think maybe somebody even told him, "Do you realize what you just said?" And he kind of had to play it back in his head. So he was
you called him a renigger.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, oh
please
no,
please don't kill me.
It's my sister-in-law, you don't know this, is from Panama originally.
You did mention that in the first episode.
Okay, yeah. So and I remember in Spanish culture, the darkest person in your family, you usually give them a nickname of negrito.
Okay.
Which just means little black kid. Like that's basically what it means, little black boy, or if it's negrita, it's little black girl. I didn't know this. I had no exposure to Spanish culture outside of the Mexicans I'd worked with in a tobacco field, and they just called me señor most of the time. They didn't know.
Right.
So her mom called me that, and I was like, what? Like I was like, what? And I was like, what did your mom just call me? And she was like, oh, no. Like she knew. She went to HBCU. Like she was married to my brother. She knew what. And she was like, no. That means it's like a term of endearment. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I had to
you say so.
Right, but
I'm gonna look it up.
Right, but I'm gonna Google. Well, we didn't have Google back then, so but it took me a while to understand that was just a thing. And like later on in life, playing soccer in a Mexican league, I was called negrito by my teammates, and that's what they called me because I was the darkest guy on the team. But it's like there's things like that if you just don't know, or if you're just unaware, may throw us off, but also like. It's nothing offensive. Like that's a term of endearment in their culture. A renege is something that you do. Like if you renege, which now I got to look up if it's an E or an E or an I.
I feel like I've read that before, that it's a renege. And
classic Brendan versus Brandon.
Look it up. Yep, exactly.
That's an accident. It happens. It's hilarious though. Hilariously awkward. I would love watching that from me. I'd be a fly on the wall on that one.
It was awesome. So have you ever been accidentally racist?
Yeah, probably. I also somewhat intentionally sometimes. I don't know. Like I think that there's things that happen where it's like I know I'm gonna be close to a line, but I'm gonna say it anyway because as a comedian you go for the joke.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes it doesn't work out so well. I can't think of a particular moment when I've been accidentally racist. I've encountered some like accidental racism. When I worked at the radio station a few years ago, we were doing a live shoot, and I'm trying to remember who the concert was. I think it was Five Finger Death Punch. And, we're backstage with them and with a couple of other bands, and we're taking pictures and everything. And one of our salespeople, she dropped a pen and then looked at me and like looked down at the pen and looked back up at me, like almost, when your wife wants you to do something and she's expecting you to do it. And I'm like, what? And she's like, you're not going to pick that up for me? And I was like, I didn't drop it. Like, that's like, and then she said, well, if this was like the 1870s, you'd pick it up for me. And like, And the whole radio crew is dying laughing. One of the bands who's with us is dying laughing. And she's just looking at me like, what? And I was like, do you know what you just said to me? Like, you basically told me in the 1870s, I, as a black man, would have had to pick up your pen because you... And she was just like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. I'm like, well, maybe you could have named literally any other year. It could have been like the 1970s, you know, like, or you could have said, aren't you a gentleman? Like, that's what it said.
Anything.
You wanted to go for a way back date when people didn't even brush their teeth. Like, I don't want to be compared to anything in the 1870s. Yeah. So that was a moment where, it was interesting. I can't think of a time when I've accidentally been racist. Yeah. Most of my racism was very intentional.
Yeah, that's good. And that's fair. As long as you go into it knowing, hey, I plan on doing this.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think sometimes I will never say racism helps us, but I will say sometimes it's important to call things out that you feel like need to be called out, whether you're going to be called racist or not. If people do wrong things. Sometimes it's like, why do y'all always do this? And if they take it the wrong way, then they took it the wrong way. And that's what I don't like about the cancel culture we're in now.
Oh, I know.
You know, like I get if people do wrong, they should be punished. I agree with that for sure. But at the same time, like, you can't cancel everybody.
And cancel culture is no different than 20 years ago, Baptist boycotting Disney.
Right.
I hated it back then, and I hate it now when people are doing it. So, yeah.
It is what it is. So,
all right.
Yeah, well, let's get these homework assignments for the next.
Get some homework.
Yeah, let's see. Speaking of cancel culture.
Okay.
I think one of the greatest entertainers of all time, of our generation, is a young gentleman by the name of R. Kelly.
Oh, okay.
That's close. R. Kelly. Oh gosh, that would be a hilarious sketch.
It would.
R. Kelly. R. Kelly. He peed on me. He peed on me. Did I do that?
All right.
Yeah.
We may have to cut this part out so that nobody steals our idea. Well, I just don't want to steal our idea.
Oh, that's true. It's timestamped. We're good.
I'm pretty sure Key and Peele are listening to us right now.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. I think R. Kelly is a great entertainer. Granted, he's a sleazy person.
Is he in jail right now?
I think so. But if here's what my biggest problem with the cancel culture is: if you listen to any of his albums, you knew he was a sleazy person. Like the things he talks about, you're like, ugh. Like
a few songs I know of his, absolutely. Right. Those are ones that could be released. Right. So I can only imagine. Yeah.
Well, he's very big into releasing himself. So I want you to look up what I think is a phenomenon. Okay. And I'll send you a link. It is Trapped in the Closet. And the single came out, I think, and the video was watching. But I don't know if anyone knows this. He actually made this into like a soap opera. So it's 33 chapters. Okay. I only want you to watch the first 4. All right. But I guarantee if you watch the first 4, you're probably going to want to watch more. Like later on.
I remember people talking about this a few years back. But I don't think I've ever seen it.
I love it. It's entertainment. It's like a Negro telenovela. It is have all kinds of twists and turns, and he sings the whole time, no matter what he's doing.
Really?
Like, now I'm picking up my toothbrush. Like it's like so random.
All right, I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I want you to check it out. All right, that is your homework.
You're slowing down. No, there you go.
Okay, that is your homework.
So your homework. Okay, so your homework is easy but maybe difficult. You talked about R. Kelly being one of the greatest entertainers. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick a moment in black pop culture from the past 40 years, whichever one you think is the best moment in black pop culture. So when I watch, like every 6 months, I have to YouTube the Motown 25th anniversary and watch Michael and his brothers go into Billie Jean. Mm-hmm. I mean, that sends shivers up my back. Okay. I can actually remember laying in bed because it was past my bedtime and hearing mom and dad watching it out in the living room being like, just like this, they were amazed by his dancing. And and I watched it. I don't know if they reran it like a week later. I saw it and saw the moonwalk that everybody was talking about. Mm-hmm. And man, what what a moment. So maybe that's your pick. I don't know, but
So from the last how long?
40 years. 40 years or so.
40 years.
Yeah.
We're gonna. Can I do a list? I don't think.
Yeah, if you want to do like a top 3 or.
Okay. I don't.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a hard one. That's a hard one because you're.
So you don't have to learn. It's easy. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to learn anything, but you're gonna have to think and
yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be okay. All right. Wow. Okay, that's gonna be a thinker.
Right.
Okay,
Good. I love it. I love it.
Right.
I gave you good homework, and I can't wait to watch Trapped in the Closet.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Don't get trapped in the closet while you're watching.
Okay. I'm gonna go watch it right now.
You actually should watch it in a closet. Maybe that might add to the experience.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that was good. We still, and I feel like we do these episodes, and we just barely touch on something. I'm sure we'll hit topics like this again, or maybe the same topic, accidental racism again.
Yeah.
But so much to talk about. So I'm having fun. I'm having a blast. So I'll see you on the next episode.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Sounds good, man.
All right.
All right.